faithfully conveying value, exploring global literary gems. Hi, this is Sally's Book Club. Today we're exploring the book The Remarkable Underground Workers with the subtitle The Story of Earthworms. What comes to mind when you think of earthworms? For most people, earthworms are long, soft, moist creatures that seem a bit gross. They can even survive being cut into segments. Oh, right, they're also excellent fishing bait. Uh, but when you follow the author into their underground world, you'll discover realities beyond imagination. Some might even challenge your assumptions. Darwin said, "It may be doubted whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world as these lowly organized creatures." Do you know why these tiny creatures hold such significance? And how do they regenerate? And how exactly do earthworms reproduce? This book will completely transform your understanding of these remarkable underground engineers. Author Amy Stewart, a celebrated American nature writer, maintains one of California's 19 most extraordinary botanical gardens, a constant source of inspiration for works like Flower Confidential and Wicked Plants. This book emerged directly from her hands-on gardening experiences, blending entertainment with scientific rigor. The author collaborates with biologists and taxonomists to present comprehensive insights. Condensing 130,000 words into three key sections, let's explore earthworms' subterranean realm. Part 1, the evolution of human understanding. Part 2, their unique anatomy and physiology. Part 3, how these delicate creatures shape entire ecosystems. First, let's examine humanity's evolving perspective. Earthworms are ancient organisms. Their worm ancestors date back 600 million years. For over 450 million years, Earth's life forms have endured at least 5 mass extinctions. Sobering statistics, delivered with measured gravity. These catastrophes wiped out 96% of marine life and 70% of terrestrial species. Yet none of these catastrophes threatened earthworms' existence. These ancient survivors have witnessed Earth's entire evolutionary drama. Yes, these remarkable underground laborers have endured historical slander. The term earthworm literally means soil-dwelling insect. In some contexts, it even metaphorically meant despicable person. Contrary to modern recognition of their ecological benefits, medieval folklore claimed they fed on human corpses as divine punishment. In reality, earthworms tunnel through soil without consuming human remains. They actually ingest soil, though some visionaries recognized their value. Aristotle hailed them as Earth's intestines, praising their soil work. Naturalist Gilbert White warned, "No worms means barren land." Despite these early advocates, most scientists dismissed worm research. It took Darwin to revolutionize our understanding of earthworms. Darwin's worm journey began in 1837, post-voyage. Recovering at his uncle's estate after global expeditions, his uncle noted how gravel paths sank into soil mysteriously. Darwin immediately suspected earthworm activity, but origin of species demands delayed his worm studies. Only in later life did Darwin return to worm observations. The aging scientist spent hours daily watching worm behavior. Darwin believed earthworms' primary role was aerating soil, grinding coarse particles, and enriching it with nutrient-dense castings. However, many contemporaries thought Darwin overestimated their capabilities. Prevailing views blamed earthworms for damaging roots and ruining lawns with waste. Unshaken by criticism, Darwin stood firm in his convictions. To counter critics, our limited perspective on recurring natural processes often hinders scientific progress. Darwin recognized the mutual influence between species and environment. He maintained earthworms' continuous tillage created fertile topsoil. Modern science has validated Darwin's earthworm theories. Today's researchers regard Darwin as their methodological blueprint. And this history shows how partial observations lead to flawed conclusions. Understanding species requires complex long-term study, as with earthworms' 600 million year story. Yet earthworms persist unaffected by human opinions, reshaping our world generation after generation. Now to part 2, earthworm anatomy and physiology. These biological features enable their global impact. Before diving deep, let's enjoy an earthworm joke. One day, a baby worm split itself to play badminton. Mom liked the idea and quartered herself from a John. Dad then minced himself completely. Mom cried, "Why so reckless? You'll die cut this fine." Dad weakly replied, "I suddenly wanted to play soccer." Unfortunately, the myth about bisected worms surviving is scientifically inaccurate. Actually, only one segment survives when an earthworm is cut. Imagine its body like a train composed of multiple connected cars. These cars are called body segments. Different species have 7 to over 600 segments, typically 110 to 180. When tail segments get removed, the wound doesn't immediately heal. New segments gradually regenerate until the tail fully reforms. This regenerative power puts human healing to shame. Perhaps earthworms hold greater ecological importance than humans in nature's grand design. Their bodies perfectly adapt to subterranean life, blind, deaf, and light avoiding. No lungs needed, they breathe through moist skin, absorbing oxygen from soil air pockets. Ever notice worms surfacing after rain? Waterlogged soil suffocates them. Try pressing your finger into soil, barely leaves a mark. Yet spineless worms navigate this dense medium effortlessly. Secret lies in their hairy skin, each segment bears stiff setae. Setae, keratin bristles like our hair, act as natural crampons. They grip soil like tire treads, enhancing traction. A movement sequence, rear setae anchor, front stretches forward. Then front grips as tail contracts, perfect peristaltic motion. This spineless creature migrates mere meters annually through relentless movement. During locomotion, earthworms perform another vital ecological function. Soil ingestion, yes, they literally eat dirt while moving through earth. Soil enters through pharynx, gets mucus-coated and pre-digested. Here begins calcium conversion into plant-accessible forms. Desert grinds particles before intestinal absorption. Final waste becomes nutrient-rich castings, nature's perfect fertilizer. Their endless cycling aerates soil and creates seed beds. Nutrients get bioconverted for optimal plant uptake. This makes earthworms nature's ultimate soil engineers. But how about their reproductive strategies? While humans consider height in mates, earthworms prioritize body length alignment for mating. Being hermaphrodites, they still require partner alignment. Successful mating requires precise clitoral alignment. Post-copulation cocoons emerge, pink embryonic chambers. Hatchlings emerge ready to feed, like miniature adults. Now, from birth to death cycle, earthworms face few predators. Besides surface predators or becoming fish bait, how do earthworms actually die? Humans visibly age with time, but mature earthworms show no visible aging signs. Their aging process remains a scientific mystery, decomposing completely within 24 hours of death, vanishing without trace. Disease-resistant and predator-free, they exist in perpetual biological prime. Having covered anatomy, let's explore their ecological impact. 3 key aspects reveal earthworms' planetary significance. First, as Earth's ancient guardians surviving 5 mass extinctions, their underground engineering creates habitats for countless species. Earthworms coexist with nematodes and bacteria in complex food webs. They only consume soil after microbial preprocessing. This digestion process unlocks soil's nutritional potential. Earthworm guts become microbial incubators. Relative to soil microbes, earthworms are leviathans. Their movement creates the very ground beneath our feet. Generations of tunneling aerate soil and boost fertility. Organic farms using worm castings see increased yields and reduced plant diseases. Her understanding of earthworms' capabilities keeps expanding with new surprises. As biologist James Samuelson noted, nature entrusts grandest tasks to humblest creatures. Deepened understanding makes earthworms valuable ecological tools. Second aspect, earthworms' modern societal roles in waste conversion. As natural recyclers, they're employed in various environmental projects. Large-scale vermicomposting facilities process urban and agricultural waste. This eco-friendly process creates valuable fertilizer from garbage. They rehabilitate mine lands through soil regeneration. Barren mines transform into fertile fields via worm activity. Third role, living environmental sensors. Their bodies accumulate pollutants like biological sponges, hardy enough to survive until pollutant detection. Earthworms act as soil canaries in coal mines. While beneficial, their activities can sometimes cause ecological issues. Third aspect, potential agricultural impacts like weed propagation. Some earthworms serve as intermediate hosts for parasites, spreading diseases. Invasive earthworm species can cause ecological catastrophes. Take the rice terraces of Luzon's Cordillera, flooded during growing seasons, drained for other crops otherwise. This sustainable farming system has thrived for 2 millennia. Invasive worms destabilize terrace walls, causing catastrophic collapses. Are we powerless against these wriggling invaders? Surprisingly, mustard paste repels them like citrus deters cats. Invasive impacts extend far beyond terrace destruction. Consider fishing trips using commercial bait worms. These farm-raised hybrids are bred for size and hardiness. Releasing leftovers into forests seems harmless, but these superworms breed rapidly with minimal requirements. Imagine their ecological domino effect, devouring forest litter critical for seedling growth, outcompeting native insects up the food chain. Cascading declines and birds and mammals follow. Few discarded worms can rewrite entire forest ecosystems. Any steward's exploration reveals Earth's unsung underground guardians. Earthworms. They're master resource optimizers, no superpowers, just endless soil tilling that maintains ecological harmony. Existing millions of years before humans, surviving 5 mass extinctions, they'll likely outlast us if catastrophe strikes. Losing earthworms would collapse life's foundation, unlike humanity's potential disappearance. Let's discard prejudices and appreciate these underground allies. Honor these remarkable underground engineers. Wrapping up our exploration, find episode notes below. Until next literary journey, happy listening.